Tariffs and the Etsy seller. The US tariffs. Etsy has just updated its guidance there. I've been asked why I've not been covering this yet. It's because it's been really difficult to cover. But Etsy have updated its guidance. I'm going to tell you what it's saying for any international seller. And a short note is basically I've switched off my shipping to the US just now, and probably for different reasons than you think of, strangely enough. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm not going to get too political here. Tariffs are things that lots of countries have in place. They are money paid by they're extra taxes put on top of stuff that you import from another country. Many countries have this. What has happened in the past was there used to be a de minimis. There would be a value that if you were below, you didn't have to pay. So small sellers like us were generally okay. The United States was one of the kindest ones at $800, I believe it was. But from the end of the month, that de minimis has gone. Tariffs are kicking in pretty much worldwide. It's different in different countries. The UK, I believe, because we kind of sucked up a little bit. Sorry, Canada, I wish we'd stood with you. But anyway, I understood political. But the UK's 10%. Other countries are between 15% and sky high percent. Generally, these kind of things apply. Like if I order something from another country, it goes over our de minimis and the tariffs apply, or in our case, it would be customs. It's my responsibility to pay them. So we'd kind of figured out that would be the thing. Many people have in their policies that all customs fees are the customer's responsibility. But no. Okay, so let us dive into this quickly. So, what Etsy has said. So, they've had an update in the forum. As you know, since earlier this year, there have been numerous updates to global shipping and trade policy. This is another thing. There could be a last minute change. We don't know. It's been a confusing time, but on August the 29th, another key update will take effect. There will no longer be a de minimis exemption for goods entering the United States. That means that all items shipped to the US, regardless of item value, may now be subject to tariffs. Shipping options are changing as global carriers work to adapt to this change. In the meantime, postal services may be delayed or suspended. To help you navigate these changes, we've updated the seller handbook with our latest guidelines for facilitating cross-border shipments with minimal disruption. At this time, we strongly suggest sellers shipping to the US seek out carriers with a DDP option. This means duties are paid when you buy shipping, which allows you to prepay tariffs, duties, taxes, and other import fees when you purchase your shipping labels. This way, you can provide your buyers pricing that is inclusive of any new fees. And of course, Etsy get fees on top of that. Anyway, creating more transparent shopping experience and eliminating the risk of buyers refusing to pay after their shipment arrives. Which, if that was just the case, Etsy have said that's considered a forced return. If someone doesn't pay their customs duties, it's a forced return and you don't have to refund them or anything. You're covered. But it's more than that anyway. We've added pricing guidance as well as a free tariffs calculator. So I'll show you that. I've looked into that. You have to log in and create an account there, but it is a free tariff calculator. More info can be seen in the seller handbook. So obviously, I went to the seller handbook. We'll check what they're saying there. So as of August the 20th, this is when they wrote it, effective August the 29th, there will no longer be a de minimis exemption for goods entering the United States, which means more items shipped to the US may now be subject to tariffs. Now they're saying more and may be subject. I'll get into that in a minute. We're committed to helping you navigate this change, and the below reflects the most recent update and options available to you. As new guidance becomes available, as the shipping providers make updates to help facilitate seamless cross-border trade, we'll continue to update this page. And I don't blame Etsy for taking so long, because it's been very confusing as to what's going to happen, who's going to be expected to pay, and what the shipping companies are doing. So what are tariffs? A tariff is a tax on goods imported from one country into another. They can be broad or may apply only to specific categories or types of items. Typically, they're a set percentage of the total item value. There are differences with these. They could be a set percent or a fixed amount. It depends. Tariffs are a tool to shape global trade, protect domestic industries, or generate government revenue. There are many tariffs in place around the world. Exactly. This isn't just a US thing. It's just this is new to us selling to the US. De minimis exemptions allow shipments under a certain value to enter a country without incurring custom duties or tariffs. These exemptions are put in place to simplify the trade process and reduce the administrative burden. De minimis thresholds vary from country to country. And this is one thing. The de minimis was there because it becomes very difficult and expensive if every $20 item has to go through all of that. So it was there to reduce the load on customs. And to an extent, we thought this might not go through because customs wasn't ready for it. But they might have got a way around this from what I'm hearing just now. How can I find out if tariffs impact me? We know many of you continue to follow the news. There have been frequent nuanced changes to these regulations. For updates on tariffs that impact your home country or a country where you have buyers, we recommend following official government websites, which, yeah, great. There's some examples there. I had a look in them. We recommend connecting with a legal professional. Etsy, can you not just speak to a legal professional on our behalf? But anyway, we know how much you care about creating a seamless customer experience for your buyers. Tariffs can add a layer of complexity onto your transactions that can impact a buyer's experience. Fortunately, there are options. The recommended approach for shipping to the US is use delivered duty paid shipping options. This is DDP. We strongly suggest you seek out a carrier that lets you prepay tariffs, duties, and taxes and other import fees at the time you purchase your shipping label. This is DDP. By using DDP shipping options, you can calculate and present tariff inclusive prices on Etsy will help alleviate confusion and create a more straightforward, seamless shopping experience, and eliminates the risks of your buyers refusing to pay tariff. We've compiled a list of carriers that include all the expensive ones. In the UK Post Office has said to business customers they're giving them that option as well. Alternative, use delivered duty unpaid or delivered at place. This is what we're normally doing. Buyers will be responsible for paying tariffs, import duties and taxes, and any associated handling fees to the final carrier or customs when their items are delivered or before being released for customs. We don't recommend this option as it may lead to confusing or cumbersome experiences. Your buyer will likely incur unexpected costs after checkout and may refuse to accept your item. I'm hearing more than this. Some of the postal companies are actually saying that they believe US Customs is going to turn back parcels that are DDU. So yeah, this is not good. And also, many postal providers will be suspending DDU service or changing delivery options to the US. In light of this, effective August the 25th, that's like 4 days from now, Etsy will be suspending shipping label purchases on Etsy for Australia Post, Canada Post, Every, and Royal Mail for US bound packages. Not only that, many carriers are many, like your local post offices in Europe and the UK and plenty of places, are refusing to accept parcels because they expect they're going to be sent back. So if you're not paying it's not going to be sent. Oh, yeah, Etsy are saying, for example, Royal Mail in the United Kingdom has indicated they expect to launch a DDP option that can be purchased directly from local post offices in the coming weeks. So this is all happening, but at the minute in time, you can't use Etsy labels to ship to the US, well, from August the 25th. So if you have any packages to go out, get them out just now. That still could be a problem because they've only got 5 days to get to customs. But anyway, I'm getting this out as soon as I can. It came out yesterday. Um, but anyway, so this is a problem. It doesn't mean you can't ship, it just means that you can't use Etsy labels. You'll have to purchase from elsewhere. And for some of us, that is a problem because that means not only are you going to have to add the tariffs, but to stay in the Etsy's purchase protection program, if you're not using Etsy labels, you're going to have to use tracked shipping, which I know some countries are like, why wouldn't you use tracked shipping? But some of us, non-tracked shipping was kind of standard for international shipping. So prices are going to look pretty scary. Anyway, and that's the reason at the minute in time that I've switched off shipping to the US, because not being able to use Etsy labels means that I would have to charge a lot extra for shipping, and I'm already eating quite a cost of shipping to the US because the US was already the most expensive place to ship to in the world in recent years. Okay, so calculating. First, it's important to understand the financial impact of tariffs. You can determine by using tools such as the Zonos thingamabob, which we'll go to in a minute. And there are two ways to use this tool. Quick tariff rates. Enter your product description, country of origin, currency, and price to get instant tariffs. Detailed tariffs and import fees with a tool that's coming soon, so they don't even have that. Once you understand how tariffs will impact the cost of running your business, you may want to reevaluate your pricing strategy. Yes. Number of things to think of. If you've chosen to prepay import duties and tariffs on behalf of your buyers, you may want to incorporate these additional fees into your prices. And if you incorporate them into your prices, don't forget that you also have to include all of Etsy's fees, that those additional prices. So you don't just add the tariffs. And if you're adding them, then your item price is going to be dearer. So the tariffs is going to be dearer. Yeah, wonderful. Look at their ultimate guide to pricing, all of that. In the coming months, we'll roll out tools to help you adjust prices based on country-specific tariffs, customs, and duties. So they are planning something. Communicate with your buyers. Yeah, sure. Recommend being transparent with your buyers. This listing price is inclusive of tariffs. Buyers responsible for tariffs. Yep. They are recommending, and a lot of people are doing, if you get a sale to the US, perhaps message your customer to explain what's going on. Although it feels like this has been being shouted about and everybody should know about it, but yeah, not all buyers know everything that's going on. They might have ignored it and think that they're importers buying something on Etsy. Okay, so you can check out the rest of that, but I wanted to show you a little something. This is the Zonos thing. So I logged into there, and I had been hearing this, that if your item is an original work of art, it's not subject to tariffs. Now, I can't give you legal advice here. You have to look into this some more. So, although I've switched off shipping to the US, I perhaps don't need to. When I put into this tool, you just put what your item is, the price, and everything. It brings up your HS code, which we're using, and I have been using the 9703. And when you do this, 0%. So perhaps you want to check into this if you're doing unique art, which is interesting. And of course, if you're doing something like print on demand and your item is being created and shipped from within the US, that could be very different. I've heard people say that digital goods might be okay. I can't tell you everything. You've got to look into it. I'm trying to learn everything I can, but I've not got there. But this was interesting anyway. It's definitely saying it's likely okay, because if I do something else, what if I go with wool bookmark? So this is another thing I make, but it's probably a plastic bookmark. But this comes up with a different code, and oh, why is that interesting? I never saw that before. Zero duty. Okay, let's try something else. Oh, I can't remember what I'd looked at before. This is funny. It's not showing me them. I don't know why I spelt that with the two E's. I never spell t-shirt like that. T-shirt, dog cotton. There we go. Right. So that's interesting. The general rate was 16.5% as of August the 1st, September the 1st. Reciprocal tariffs, it would be 10%. But anyway, so, oh yeah, it's adding up. Great, great. So that's £13 onto the price of a £50 item. So certain things, different things have tariffs, some of them don't. So that is interesting. I don't understand all of this, to be honest, but you've got there, you can calculate things. It's very important how you describe it to make sure that your HS code, that's the code that goes on your customs label, if it's correct and saying something is duty free, it does seem that there are certain things that have not got taxes. So that is interesting. But anyway, yeah, I don't know everything here. I hope that was of a little help. I'm trying to find out what I can. I'm not trying to avoid talking about tariffs. It's just very complicated. But it does look like, currently, it looks like as sellers, we are going to have to pay the tariffs when we buy our shipping labels wherever we're purchasing them. So you're going to have to calculate how much that's going to be and roll it in advance. I'm not a legal expert on anything about whether you have to pay or something, but Etsy gave us that link. So check and see, and it's possible that your items don't need this, but also be aware Etsy shipping labels from many places won't be purchasable for the US, and many countries, local post carriers, your usual international cheaper postal carriers, are not going to be accepting mail for the US until they figure this out. So at the least, perhaps some of you might have to consider pausing shipping to the US. But let me know what you think. I know plenty more of you will have looked into this even more than me.